Sis, what? That's gonna be beautiful. Hey, it's Evie.
And Liz.
Talking about things.
All sorts of things. Safe space. Listen, y'all.
Rolling up the tapes. So what I want to talk about today is honesty. Why it's so offensive. Why nobody subscribes to it. Because I feel like no one subscribes to it. And I get and I hear people when they say like tone matters. But I also feel like it even is offensive like through text message, through written text. I don't think it's about tone, even though that's what people want to make it. I think people get offended by honesty. And it drives me kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It really does.
I can see that. I think we're so used to people, well, we're not even used to, but the majority of us are prepped, in a sense, to sugarcoat things for the sake of preserving people's feelings. But what that did is made people super duper sensitive to regular feedback.
Right.
Like if I come in and you ask me my opinion about, oh, hey, right? Like even just your lips, right? What do you think? I can say that I don't like the color for me, but it looks great on you. That's still, you know what I mean?
I can say I don't like the color. Why can't I just say I don't like the color? Right? Why can't I just say I don't like the color?
Right.
Right? Why can't I just say I don't like that color?
Yeah.
Then you're automatically offended.
Right.
You're automatically now I'm the meanest person ever. Why can't I just say I don't like that color?
When you asked me.
When you asked me,
right?
It wasn't like I was intentionally trying to attack you. You asked me a question. I answered it with the truth. And now I'm the meanest person ever because I don't like your lip color.
Right.
And that's a real thing. That's not even going... I feel like we're not even exaggerating on this. This is a real thing.
Yes.
Hey, you like this dress? I don't really like that.
Right.
Oh my gosh, she said my dress is ugly. Oh my, it drives me crazy.
And then it's almost like, okay, are you fishing for a compliment?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're offended because I'm not giving you the response that you were looking for. You didn't care about my actual opinion. You thought that you were going to get this response to feed your ego.
And it goes far, like, in every space. And it just, I don't know. It just bothers me a lot. It really does. It really does. And we know, like, people think that omission is not a lie. Right? So that also is a heavy thing that seems to be normal. Where I'm going to omit piece of the story because either I don't want to deal with the consequences of it, or no, it's because I don't want to deal with the consequences of it.
I don't think there's any.
That's it. It's like I know this is going to hurt you and I don't want to deal with what I'm going to have to deal with when I hurt you and tell you the whole honest truth.
Right. Or you're a habitual liar. And for the sake of saving yourself, you can only give out but so much information because you're going to tell on yourself, right? If you tell me something and you tell the next person something else and then you're just lying all the way around, it's easier for you to just keep a generic response. What were you doing today? I've just been running. Okay, why are you so sweaty? Been working. But you don't have a job, so how are you working, right? Like, that needs to make sense.
I was thinking about how, like, I was having a difficult conversation. It was only difficult because they was omitting stuff and I couldn't understand why or what was happening in the conversation, right? So I hate, if I'm talking and I say, what you doing? And you say stuff. There's two things that's going to happen. Either I'm going to think you want me to just mind my business.
Right.
Because you're doing something that I shouldn't know about.
Right.
Or you don't know how to communicate. So if I really want to know, I'm going to go, like, what stuff? And you say stuff like, lots of stuff. Okay.
Because you could also just tell me to mind my business.
Right. Because I'm trying to have a conversation and communicate and...
Right.
What? So I think sometimes people are so used to being in that space of dishonesty, because that's what omission is.
Right.
They don't even know they're doing it when they do it anymore.
Right. That's the thing.
And that's like, I don't know, it's what?
I don't know.
I think it comes from our parents, though. I do. I think it's passed down and passed down and passed down from our parents lying to us about so many little things that we think it's normal to lie.
Okay.
Like, I feel like adults lie to children about stuff they don't need to lie about.
Right.
Right? Like, you can tell your kid you're not old enough for that conversation instead of making up some crazy lie that you gotta unmake up, right? I used to deal with this all the time with my kids, and people never understood why I gave them so many truths. It's because I hate being lied to, right? And so sometimes I do say, yo, you're gonna have to ask me that when you turn 16, right? Like, sometimes I say that to Deuce, but most of the time I just tell him the truth. And it's ugly, and I'm sorry that it sucks, that it's so ugly, but I just cannot do even the small lies because I think it becomes a pattern of you just believe lies are normal.
It sure does. You just unlocked the childhood memory for me. Santa Claus, right? we never had a chimney ever, so that's just my observation. This doesn't make any sense. We black. We got an old white man with stranger danger, right? But let him come through the chimney that we don't have and leave present. So I remember being 4 years old and knowing, like, for myself that this is
like
not
logic.
a thing. And I would pretend to be so into Christmas because, you know, what little kid doesn't like getting things? But I knew, like, I was writing letters. I know who was going to. I'm like, to the most beautiful, sweet little man. Thank you so much. I know you work so hard to provide, like, because I don't want to break my mother's heart.
Now she's lying to you
Yep.
to protect. You're lying to her to protect the lie that she's lying to you. Do you
Yep.
see what I'm talking about?
Right.
I feel like this is what happens. It's a series of bull, right?
Oh,
A series of bull.
Yeah.
And then if you go deeper into like relationships where everybody's cheating and everybody's lying, why? If I'm lying to you because you're cheating and you're lying to me because you're cheating, then what are we doing? We're just sitting in this dishonesty thing. Like I'm so frustrated lately. I really am. I'm struggling so bad lately. I'm struggling so bad with realizing that people lie for no reason.
Yeah.
Like it's that's what's bothering me. Like I almost get when people are trying to protect something, but I'm really confused lately on what are we doing?
But okay, so I feel like that can also go back to the childhood trauma thing, right? Because there's different aspects in families, right? I know in my family, there's certain members who don't have any respect for your privacy, right? Any little thing, even if you don't tell them, they just happen to stumble upon. They see you at the store. Oh yeah, I saw so and so, and she was with this person. Like, that's none of your business, but you're telling it. It's not a secret either, but I also don't need you speaking on me or for me.
Right.
So it could become a habit to omit information for the sake of that. Just
right. So I do think it becomes habit. That's what I said. I really do think. I think lying is lying, but I think omission becomes habit. I do.
Right.
I really, really believe it. And that comes back to, though, the truth being so offensive, right? Because you wouldn't have to omit if it was just okay for me to say, I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
That's not your business. If it was okay to say those things which are honest and true and real, then we wouldn't have to omit so much, right? Because now I could just tell you, I don't want to tell you all that.
Right.
Like, I remember my son. And this is why I love my children, and when I say they're awesome, I really mean that to my core, right? One of my aunties was asking him when he first came back from a break in college about girls he was dating. You dating a girl? What she look like? And he finally said to her, can we not do this? I don't really want to have this kind of conversation.
Right.
And she said, my bad, no problem, Aunt. And I was like, in my soul, feeling all warm and fuzzy because I've learned to teach my son to be honest about his boundaries. Don't lie, don't omit. Just say you don't want to talk about it so that you can create that boundary of truth.
Right.
That is the most purest thing ever. And whoever's offended about it, oh well. Like, that's where I'm at with, like, trying to teach my children. But then I also have to teach them, but the world doesn't see it like that.
Right. That's what messes up everybody. Even just like in school, public schools especially, because you have all these different people with all these different backgrounds, all these different beliefs. Because if I roll up into 3rd grade telling everybody, "Oh, the Easter Bunny ain't real," what are we doing?
You are right. Right.
I'm being honest though. 7 foot. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Why are we instilling these things?
And it is. It's really weird.
It's not
And
offensive.
I'm okay with the fun. I am. I mean, I don't subscribe to it, but I am okay, right? We believe in Barney, and all of those things are still falsettas. But it's to the point where you're offended when someone doesn't believe the lie.
Right.
That's where it gets really crazy for me, right? Because similar story, we were at the grocery store once, and Anthony was saying something to Deuce about there's not really a Santa. And some lady turned around and was like yelling at my kid. You know, I was about to fight her in the grocery store. But the point is, sweetie, stop. Tell your kid whatever you want to tell your kid. But nah, that's not what we doing. You know, it just was, I don't know. I get frustrated. And then, so the other piece of this was like, lies people say about you in order to cover their lies. Like, I'm starting to recognize people telling other stories that I already know aren't true to make someone else look bad or make themselves look better, whatever they're trying to do. And I'm caught because I know I've always been so mean. And I'm trying to shift a little, right? But it's hard because I want to say, sweetie, I already know.
Right.
I already know the whole truth. Why are you doing this? So now you're like lying about other people. And that creates a really ugly space.
I get what you mean. Yeah. Especially when... Because I've seen it from an outside perspective where someone was very much telling something that wasn't true. And you can tell that the person they were talking to wasn't convinced. So you can see them like, oh, well, she didn't just push me, she punched me in my shoulder too. And it's like, and she grilled me up and down. Like, am I, are you on board yet? Why are we doing that though?
It's like the police.
Right. But if somebody's not engaging, and also, what is the purpose of telling this story? Because what is your goal in trying to diminish somebody else's image?
Yo, so let me tell you, somebody was talking to me the other day and telling me the stories that they heard about me before they met me. Right? She was like, I remember so-and-so said instantly, oh, you're not gonna like her. And she said her natural response was, that's mean. And of course now they gotta not be mean, right? So now they gotta paint me as the most evilest person because they gotta not be mean.
Right.
So that person went on to say, and it was a guy, made it even worse, right? So then that guy went on to say how I'm loud, I'm ghetto, I'm rude, I spelled my son's name wrong, so don't seem like I'm educated. And he met me before I was a teacher, so I guess, right?
Whoa.
And I was like, dang, this is crazy. It was one of my friend's husbands, right? So I'm like, do y'all just sit around? Because then it made me feel like she's not really my friend either, right? Because what is happening in this conversation? So me and her are cool now. We're close. We're friends now, right? So she's like, it just was weird because now I met you and I'm like, you're freaking awesome. And I'm like, well, thanks, girl. But it's just crazy, right? It's just crazy how you had to dig deeper into your negative statement.
Right.
Of this array of things to make yourself feel better. And I just don't understand. I just can't fathom the reason why we just sit around and live in this bundle of lies. Because the truth is so much better. Like, it really is. Like, to have to think about... Anything. Right! Right, I gotta think about what I told Nissa. Right. Did I tell Sandra the same thing I told Nissa? Wait, did I tell Paula what I told Sandra and Nissa? I don't want to do that. Right. But people do. And it's weird. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just struggling with, like, how do we get to a space of honesty? How do we get to a space of, because I think that's why I'm struggling with, from friendships, right, and family, forget about it. I've quit on the idea of family telling me the truth. I really have. Like, I've quit. But how do we get to a space where friendships are honest?
Right.
And then relationships.
Right, because the common goal is to be there for each other and support in some way.
Right.
And you can't do that without honesty.
And then even like, so remember the place that I love to eat? I'm not going to blast them on here, right?
Oh, it's so good.
And it's so sad because you asked me if I was thinking about you. And my response, first I went around it, right? To try not to say the truth because I know the truth is going to sound bad.
Right.
So, okay, fill y'all in real quick, right? This restaurant I used to love to eat at, I used to text the guy because I used to get special orders, like for events. And so he texted me to ask me about an event. I filled him in. And then he responded with, hey, did you think about me today? And I said, had a real busy day. Trying to just ignore the question because I didn't understand why he would ask that question.
Right.
And then he followed up with, you didn't answer the question.
That's the crazy part.
So now my response, still trying to figure out the nice thing to say, I said, well, not really, because we haven't ever talked enough for me to have something to think about.
Right.
To me, that was the best answer I could come up with, because in reality, I just want to say, no, I don't know. Why would I sit and think about you today? Like, why? We don't have a relationship. And so now I can't even eat there because his response was so like, that was so mean and rude. You didn't have to say it like that.
You didn't have to ask either.
Right. I'm not dating you. I don't understand. And so I remember somebody once told me that I get in these situations where people think that we're dating when we're not. But I really was not having any casual conversations. I never texted him and said, hi, how are you? I never did any of those. I literally only talked to him for a food order. So it was just, I just feel like you asked me something in order for you to get something.
Right. Not
really because you wanted to know the answer to the question. Because when I responded the answer, now I'm this mean and nasty person. What? That's the same thing when people were like, do you miss me? I always get into this silence of, but if I did, I would have told you. Like, I just feel like I don't understand, especially at the beginning. And this is what, I'm not talking about somebody you're actually dating. I'm talking about at the very beginning space of, I just met you yesterday and you're asking me if I missed you. And so do people just say, yes, I miss you?
No, listen.
And so now I'm like the mean, evil girl because I don't say, yes, I miss you when I just met you yesterday?
No. Oh my gosh. I don't get it. I just feel like it shouldn't be problematic, right? As long as you're not maliciously trying to hurt someone's feelings with your truth, then it shouldn't be an issue at all. I feel like tone, not as far as like how you say it, like, oh, I hate your shirt, because that's still not nice, right? But if you, I'm just getting annoyed thinking about it. I just feel like it's,
I ain't got no answers for you, boo, so.
I feel like it's the way you go about it. Like, when I think of tone, I'm thinking of like the typical high school mean girl where it's like they're purposely, like, you know, they're saying something to hurt your feelings, but they say it in a nice way. That was why my example was that.
Right.
Your intention is still to be nasty, though.
Right.
So if I'm saying something that's not nasty.
So that just proves that tone doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, we pretend that tone does.
But I feel like that's more so.
But it means that tone doesn't matter, though. If I say it with a smile and I'm happy, but it's cruel, then it's still cruel. So it should be the same the other way. It should be the same the other way. The other way should be the same. It's not fair that it doesn't apply the other way. So now if I don't say it in a happy way, but I'm not being cruel, now I'm still cruel? When do you win?
It just doesn't make sense. Right? And I'm trying to make it make sense.
Right? Like, when do you win? That's not fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Because I don't talk like this. I don't ever talk like this. I never talk like this. Unless I'm like really, really excited because something really extraordinary happened. I don't talk like this. I talk like this. I don't even talk like this that y'all getting on this podcast, right? Like, we know that this is high pitch that naturally happens when the record button happens. I naturally talk in a monotone. So if you're gonna say like, hey, did you miss me today? No, not really. That's what you're gonna get. And that's not me being mean. That means you ain't did nothing in my life yet for me to miss you. Or it could mean I have 2 businesses, a full-time job, I homeschool my son, so I didn't miss you because my brain never stopped moving enough for me to like think about anything but what's in front of me.
This is just making me mad. I'm just thinking of like all the unnecessary interactions that happen throughout the day. Like, where are you going? Why do you need to know where I'm going? It doesn't affect you.
And now you gotta omit.
Right. But then I'm an asshole because I literally will say, that doesn't concern you, or that's my business, because it is. If I wanted you to know where I was going, I would have announced it to you. Hey, I'm going so-and-so, da-da-da. Why are you asking me what I'm doing? Oh, yeah. People suck, man. I mean, y'all are great. I'm like, this got me perplexed.
Great, I'm telling you. It's been on my mind. And then I told you, like, my mentor that I love when I'm having this conversation, because I was hella frustrated last week. And, you know, I'm like, she's like, what's up? And I'm like, I'm just tired of people lying. I just wish people would just say the truth. I wish people would tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? Like, if I'm talking to you and I ask you if you're talking to other people, I just need you to say yes. We're not official, just say yes.
Right.
And if I don't ask you, I'm gonna need you to tell me anyway. Like, I don't know.
Because you're still lying.
Because you're still lying. And then she was like, you know, to believe people tell the truth is just childish because all adults lie. And I was like,
but how do we stop it? How do we stop it?
or how do I find a space that's comfortable? Because, right, like, the truth is we know we cannot fix the world because there's too many. This is small scale of the stuff that I wish I could fix if I could fix the world, right? So how do I get in a space where I'm comfortable? How do I get in a space where I'm not offended all the time? Because I can't stop taking it freaking extremely personal. I can't stop. I feel like I'm always in this space where I'm writing 10 pages in my journal because somebody lied to me about the color of the socks they were wearing. Like, I get into these.
Bitch, I saw that they were brown. You said they were red. I could see with my eyes. What is the point? Yeah.
You know, but really, like,
yeah.
I just...
And I feel like also part of it is people are afraid to like lose bonds and lose connections. So it's you're holding on by, I don't even want to say protecting whatever your true feelings are, but I guess essentially that's what it is. But if someone else's beliefs don't align with yours, and you're masking that out of fear of losing that person, why not just accept that this person doesn't need to be in your space? I feel like that's the solution. I feel like we have these comfort zones, right? And all of us, to an extent, where you want to have like a cushion. Even our friends, sometimes we piss each other off, and we just overlook it. Now, there's this one thing to nitpick and like fight about things that aren't really big deals. That's one thing. But it's another thing when it's like someone that you know, this person just doesn't align with me, period. But we've been cool. How do you...
You sparked something, right? Where you said, like, what happens, this friend, and we argue or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend, one day, I don't remember exactly what I was doing. It was so many years ago. But I did something to piss her off.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after, we were in a public space. So when we got out of the public space, she came up to me, she was like, that really made me upset.
Right.
And we had this conversation. I was like, oh, shoot. You know, I'm sorry.
Right.
She's like, I think I'm having a bad day too. So that might be a part of it. But... And so, like, again, that's an honest conversation.
Right.
Right? Like, I need more people to live in that space, because what happens when you don't do that is then now, 3 years later, you want to talk about how I made you mad on September 10th, 2002.
Right. Or you're carrying that grudge around, so now everything that you say, or whatever your opinions are, I'm taking it offensive because I just felt like you hated me since September.
Right. Right. So it's an awkward space to be at, and I think in order for our friendships and intimate relationships to grow, there's got to be some equal boundary space, and I don't know how to create that. I don't know how to create that safely while protecting myself from not being so offended when people keep lying.
Right.
And then when I hear the lies people say about me, right, I get into this space where I'm like, what the hell?
Right. Like, what about me's giving off that? Is it me or is it you?
Because we ain't had a conversation. We sitting around laughing and joking,
right.
But you feel some type of way.
Right. And then also, why are you here if you feel some type of way? That was more so my point.
It's just, I don't know. So,
like, what? And okay, just to branch off to in the workplace as well. I literally had someone walk up to me and tell me. So she was coming in, I was going out, so I held the door for her. She said, "Good morning." I said, "Good morning." And she went, "I thought you were a bitch." Just like that. To my face. To my face. And I'm like, oh. I'm like,
how do you even respond to that?
I
would like to know how you responded to that.
I literally just said, oh, maybe it's just my face. Because I don't talk. I literally walk in, I boop, boop, boop.
That still was nice. That still was nice. Because I just don't understand.
It caught me off guard, though. Because I've never even seen her.
Here goes where you need to keep yourself. That was not honesty. That was rude. There goes that boundary line.
Yeah. No, listen. Because what are you going off of? I don't even know. I've never seen her. For it to be like, oh, maybe it was that day when I was having a bad day and she saw me kick my tire in my car. No. You have no grounds to go off of. You've been people watching me. Or because I'm not elated to see you, I don't know you. I'm not going to be like, oh, girl, I'm holding the door open for you.
That's what I mean, right? Because I don't walk around like this. I don't walk around with a big smile. I don't hurt my cheekbones when I'm looking and doing nothing. Now all of a sudden I'm just evil. Like I don't know the fear balance.
You talk? It's like, yes, to people that I want to talk to and people that
I know.
Right.
Right? Like, or people that I know. Why is it not okay to not talk to everyone in the world? Right? Like, what space are we in that I have to talk to everyone sitting in the room with me, or I'm mean?
I'm not running for mayor. I don't care.
So I don't know. It's just
because other people feel uncomfortable, and we're expected to present ourselves a certain way for other people's comfort. But what about my comfort? It makes me feel uncomfortable talking to strangers.
I just recorded this segment today on the book that you gave me, Girl. Because a quote at the end of the book, she was saying, I don't remember the exact quote, but summarize it, it was basically saying, like, she was saying how tired she is from trying to protect the image that she's been trying to portray to people while still trying to figure out who I am.
Right.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I'm trying to figure out what to say so that I'm not mean, at the same time trying to keep my integrity for being honest, because integrity is personal, right? So you can believe it's okay to lie a little bit, but my integrity believe it's never okay to lie. I have never, ever, 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 ever looked somebody in the face and lied to them. It's not who I am. I can honestly say that. Have I looked somebody in the face and said, nah, that ain't your business? Mm-hmm. You don't need to know that?
Right.
Yes, I have, but I do not. And then a step further, someone I love, someone like, what?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm just.
It is way different.
I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to figure out why people lie. I'm tired of trying to be scared to connect with people because they're going to lie. I'm tired of hurting people's feelings because I'm being honest. Right? Like, me and an associate fell off a couple years ago because I literally said to her, these were the words I said, You've only known me for 2 years. There's so much about me you don't know.
Right.
That was mean, so I don't know you? What? Okay. And if anybody who actually knows me, you can be friends with me for 10 years and still not get all of me. I have a lot of trauma in my life. The trauma in my life is real. I've had trauma in my life since birth. I didn't have a mom or a dad. That's trauma that I can't even begin to tell you about. So no, I'm not just sitting here every time we get together and I'm telling you all my trauma.
Right.
So 10 years from now, you'll probably still be listening to, oh yeah, this happened too. And you'll be like, oh shoot.
Right.
So like, to think you're gonna know me in 2 years, like, you're not.
Right.
You know, like, you're not. Okay, so I guess this is what we're doing. Yes, Deuce, because I'm recording and you should do sign language. 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Mom, I asked if you're recording or not.
Yes.
You should have shook your head and yes or no.
I don't know what that means, Deuce.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. Don't have children. So yeah, I just feel like it sucks because it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. It honestly just is not accepted on its bare minimum.
Right.
And it happens at work all the time. Where now I don't even want to respond to people. Like now when I know that the truth is going to make somebody upset, I just tell my director to answer because you're comfortable with lying. That's what I say to him. You're comfortable with lying, so you got to do that.
Listen, at least you have an outlet to.
Because I can't.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I can't. I refuse to be in a space where you require me to keep lying to you.
Right.
So I am on a mission to take myself out of spaces where I have to lie. You know what? That's the message. That's the message. That's the message. I would like people to take themselves out of spaces where they have to lie.
That's why I keep coming over.
That's the message, though. Now, I know it's hard at work, so I'm not telling you to quit your job. You know, break my soul. I'm not telling you to quit your job. But any other space that you have to lie in, remove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's your challenge. That's your challenge from me. Remove yourself.
Remove yourself.
Like, if you find yourself at some girls' room meeting or some girls' night out, and you find yourself hitting your hand a lie, don't go to that girls' night out no more.
Right.
You find yourself talking to some guy that you thought you really, really liked, and you feel like you had to lie to him, you don't really like him, take yourself out of that space.
Right.
Like, that's where I'm at right now. Moving forward, I challenge you outward. Take yourself out of spaces you have to lie in. So then we can start getting more honesty in this freaking world.
And be open to criticism. Because criticism could be good and criticism could be bad. But if someone's giving you honest feedback, just be open to that. I feel like that's a starting point, right?
I feel like she's trying to watch her tone with that.
I did. Because tone matters.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's
doesn't.
bullshit. They only say that to make honest people feel mean. That's it.
Because you don't know how to take feedback. Just please. And don't ask me if you don't really want to know.
Mic drop. Thanks for listening.
Irritated me. Yes, thank you.
Go be honest. Right now. Tell somebody the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Just say it with your chest and keep your face straight. Go feel alive.